Welcome everyone, it's Great Shirt Guy, rocking the Great Shirt as always. We're going to try to do this in one take, and I'm probably going to make some mistakes, but I got to get to bed, so I'm going to do this video. Probably this will be the last video for 4 or 5 weeks. I got to go on a business trip, so let's kind of get into what I've been working on. Been doing the big build. I've been building lots of models. I finished, what was it? I was starting the Sisters of Battle, and then I was just getting something about it with my work schedule and everything, and I just moved over. I was like, I just want to build models, and I was having a lot of fun. And so I finished building my World Eaters. We'll take a few pictures, look at some pictures of those, and I started working on my Fallen. Unfortunately, I couldn't finish the Fallen in time before my trip tomorrow, and I finished my college class, so that's all done with. So when I get back from my trip, it'll just be models whenever I have free time. And so let's kind of get into it. Let's go. Let's turn that one up. All right, here we go. We got 2,000 points of World Eaters, 3 squads of Khorne Berserkers and Rhinos, a 5-man squad of Raptors with 2 melta guns, and then the Raptor champion has a multi-melta. I believe they also have an Icon of Wrath. I'm not 100% sure. I'll have to look at the list, but I just didn't have an Icon of Wrath to put on them. I didn't have a little thing for them for it. Also, if you hear any weird noise, we're getting this crazy 2-hour dust storm, and it's like a microburst rainstorm. So if you hear that, that's kind of what that is. We've got 2 spawn in here. Got some 5-man Red Butcher Terminators with lightning claws. Got the Chaos Lord Terminator armor. He's got the Murder Sword, and he's got. It's weird because when I pick him, it gives him both a melta gun and a bolter, not a combi bolter. It's weird. I don't know if there's a thing going on with Battlescribe or if that's just how the old rules are kind of set up. We got Karn, and we got a Master of Executions, and we got a 10-man squad of Cultist. And those are the sweet Victoria Ministers Cultists. And of course, can't forget we got 3 Predators in the back. And they're just standard autocannon, heavy bolter, Havoc Launcher Predators. And it's pretty sweet, so... I was going to show you some more close-ups, but, pretty good. This is pretty much the picture. All right, let's move on over to, I'll take a gander at some of the Fallen I've been working on. So what I did is I got the Forge World shoulder pads. So I've been putting up, hold on, why is it doing that? Why did it do that? Oh, come on. Hold on, 1 second. We're doing it live. Yeah, so we got the Forge World shoulder pads. And then we got the Forge World helms for the Mark III. Yeah, this is the Mark III power armor. And these are going to be the Fallen. Started building some Havocs. Then there's a picture of the Havocs completed. And then these are what the Chaos Space Marines, because instead of using the Mark III helmets on these guys, I actually just started using Mark III helmets for these. They look very Iron Warrior-esque, but they will be painted black, because basically these are the Fallen that haven't completely turned to Chaos. And then these are going to be their fallen brethren that have kind of more worship the Warband and Chaos. And so if we go to the next picture, no, let's click on it. And then this is our 2 Havoc squads. And so we have our champion. He's got the plasma gun and power fist, which I think is kind of cool. He's actually a beefier, bigger model. I wasn't expecting that. We got 4 with las guns. I'm looking up because of my upper screen there. We got 4 with las guns, and then we got 4 with auto cannons. And they're not Reaper auto cannons. I'm not sure. I'd have to look at the profile. I don't know if there's a huge difference between an auto cannon and a Reaper auto cannon, but I think the Reaper auto cannon might have more shots. Could be wrong. But, yep, 4 auto cannons, 4 las cannons. I did also build a Vindicator, but I didn't take a picture of it. It's just a basic Space Marine Vindicator. It was a lot more, it took a lot longer to assemble than I thought it was going to take, but it looks pretty good. And I actually really like the Mark III helmets on the champions, because the heads they come with don't really line up the way I wanted it to, so I had some extra Mark III helmets, and we went with those for the little champion guys. And let's see, what was it doing after that? After that, I did a little quick solo bat rep. I ran out of time though, so I only got the first round. So we'll go through the stages. I wanted to do a stop motion, but stop motions take about a full week of filming plus at least 2 weeks worth of editing. And so we're working on a stop motion when I get back, but I really want to do the stop motions with fully painted armies. And I would like to get my MDF terrain at least primed a gray. And so there's some more things I want to do before we do another stop motion battle report. And there's still a whole bunch of models I want to assemble before I really start doing any painting. So it'll probably be maybe winter time is when I'm going to be able to get the new stop motion. But once we get all the models assembled and painted, then we will be able to do a lot more stop motion battle reports. And so that's what I'm kind of hoping to do. All right, let's move on. So here we go. So I played a little game against myself, and it was Raptor Space Marines 2,000 points versus the World Eaters. And so the Raptors, they changed the points. I don't exactly know what changed since the last time. And maybe Tac Squads got a little more expensive or a little cheaper, or Predators got a little more expensive, or maybe the Relic Terminators did. So the original list was 2,000 points, and it had the chat. Well, it had Laius Isilodon, which was the Raptors chapter master, the Forge World one. He became a Legends sometime this past summer, and I didn't notice he did. He also lost his Master of Ambush ability, which I thought was one of the. He has a bunch of really good killy abilities, and but Master of Ambush was one of those things where I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. That it's really flavorful with Laius, but he lost that ability in the Legends rule version, which is like 160 points. And I needed to shave some points off because I found out that my army list was like 2,290 something. I was like, oh, geez, it's overpointed when they did the points change. So I swapped out Laius with the Chapter Master. Basically, I'm still using the same model. Gave him Mastercrafted Bolt Gun. Gave him a Power Sword, which converted into the Burning Blade, which is actually a pretty good weapon. And I gave him Master of Ambush as one of his Warlord traits, aside with also upgrading him with the Chapter Master Warlord trait. So he is he's not as, it's like a trade-off. Like, he's not as killy as Laius. And if I was playing a 4,000 point game, I would just run him as Laius probably. Or like a 3,000 point game, I'd probably run him as the Legends character and just not have Master of Ambush and just play a different way. And then we have the Librarian, Standard Librarian, which I would upgrade to a Chief Librarian if I was playing with a little bit more points. But he's got Force Axe and Plasma Pistol, and I really like that Librarian model that I painted. 3 Tac Squads, all the same. The Sergeant's got a Thunderhammer and a Combi Melta. There's a Melta gun in the squad, and then a Heavy Bolter in the squad, and everybody else got bolt guns. Those are Mark IV. And the squad looks really good. I did magnetize one of the squads, but I don't really plan on changing the loadouts for them. They looked pretty cool, and they got 2 wounds, so they're pretty good. And then we have the Relic Terminator. So originally it had 10 Relic Terminators, and it turns out that the Relic Terminators, something went up in points, and so they skyrocketed. And I was like, oh, geez, so I can't have 10. So I knocked it down to 5. 1 Reaper autocannon, 1... The Sergeant's got a Power Sword and the Plasma... It's not a pistol, it's like a Plasma Blaster, I think is what they call it. And then the Reaper Auto guy's got a Grenade Harness. 2 dudes with just Chain Fist and Combi Bolter, and then 1 Lightning Claws dude. Kind of a mixed pack of Terminators. I wasn't really sure. I didn't really know exactly what I wanted to do with them, other than I kind of wanted them to be like a mix of jack of all trade, which is probably not really what you want to do with a 5-man squad. You kind of probably want them all to be like either shooty or charging or attacking. But I think they're at least going to look cool. So that'll be that. 1 squad of Vanguard veterans with jump packs, and they have 4 of them have dual lightning claws, and then the Sergeant has the Relic Blade and a Plasma Pistol. So then we have 1 Predator Annihilator, which is the dual twin lascannon with lascannon sponsons, and then we have 2 Predator Destructors, which are the autocannon ones, and then we have 3 drop pods for the 3 Tac Squads. So that is the World Eaters list, or not, that's the Raptors list. Let's get on to the World Eaters list. So this one is, we got Chaos Lord and Terminator armor. It says Combi Melta on here, but when you look at the rules, it's like Bolter and Melta, so it's, I think there's a weird situation with the rules, but I was just treating it like a Combi Melta. Then we have Karn the Betrayer, and we have a Master of Executions. Then we have 1 10-man squad of Chaos Cultists. Oh, there's the Thunder and the Lightning. And they just have, the Chaos Cultist just has an auto guns, and then one of them has an auto pistol with a close combat weapon, and then there's a Flamer in there. And then 3 squads of Khorne Berserkers that you saw, and then the Terminators, the Spawn, Raptors, basically everything you saw earlier in the video is what's in this list. So we went for a setup, and this is what the table setup looked like. So I decided to do open war, and I kind of wanted, because I was doing Predator versus Predator, I kind of wanted because there's 3 Predators and 3 Predators, I kind of wanted a big open mid board for the tanks to shoot each other, and it actually was very effective for one side. So, and then just a couple different angle shots of the different openings, and I think it looked pretty good. It was probably a little too open, but these terrain pieces I would like to, when I get back, put them under a spray can and give them at least a flat gray. Them being assembled, it's a little harder, but it's not impossible. So we can figure it out. We can give them a light dusting. You'll probably still see some of the MDF underneath it, but I could also maybe get in there with an airbrush. We started, oh yeah, so where is it? Hold on. There we go. Okay, so what we got when we pulled our open war cards, we got search and secure. This is the deployment that we got, and we got Gales for our twist. Now I kind of ignored the twist a little bit when I was doing my movements, because this is me just playing against myself, and I was trying to subtract it when I remembered it, but it wasn't. I wasn't moving everything its full movement anyways, so not every single time. I think only the Khorne Berserkers I moved in their full, and it was around that time when I was like, oh yeah. But I didn't really need to move them that far. But if search and secure is cool because you lay down six objectives with different numbers on them, and then every turn one of them goes away. So unfortunately, I only ever got every battle round. I never ever played the first battle round, so none of them left. But I thought about it. I was like, would it be cool if you were securing one? You put a lot of effort into it. You killed a lot of guys to fight over it, and then on battle round 2 when it starts, I think it's when it starts. Yeah, at the start of each battle round, you find out that objective marker you were going at is just useless. I think that's kind of funny. But this is basically where I put all the objectives throughout the game. Let's see. Yep. Put that one on, this was on the Raptors side. This is on the World Eater side. Raptors again, World Eaters, Raptors, and World Eaters. And so kind of just kept them moving around. Moving on to deployment. So this is where I deployed, the World Eaters. I left all the Khorne Berserkers and the Rhinos, and the Red Butcher Terminators and the Chaos Lord, they were in Deep Strike Reserves. We have, I'm not really, so the Raptors were kind of like, I didn't know where I wanted to put them, and I wasn't sure where I was actually going to put so it's funny, because those are a 5-man Raptors squad, and I didn't know where the Raptors Space Marines were going to go yet. And then we got our 2 Spawn, and we got Karn hanging behind one of the Rhinos, and we got Master of Executions. I'm not 100% sure about who can really hold points. I've been trying to find out, I know objective secured is a rule, but I was trying to figure out, who can do it and all those different nuances about it, and I haven't really found it out yet, but we got those cultists up on the top floor. They're holding that objective, and they don't really interact in the first turn, so... We put those Predators up front, which is probably not the best idea, but if I knew I wasn't going to get first turn on the World Eaters, I probably shouldn't have put them there. I thought I was going to do first turn on the World Eaters, but I rolled differently, and so they kind of paid the price for it. But then again, if you look at it, there really isn't a whole lot of places you could put. I mean, you could have stuffed the Rhinos in a certain column. I could have moved the terrain a little bit away from the border, but... in a little backup shot, a little front shot. That photo for some reason isn't working. This is where I put the Raptors. We had our chapter master with all hanging out with those Terminators down there with the autocannon Predator. We got the other 2 Predators in the top right over here, and then we have our librarian trying to go for this point right here, and we have our 3 squads of attack Marines. With the drop pods over there. Man, the rain is coming down hard. Apologies for that. We got 5-man Vanguard Vets. The jump packs aren't on them because I wanted to paint the jump pack separately. So, but if we zoom in, if we enhance, look at this guy. Look at that nice paint job. The glowing sword really works for the burning sword relic. So, and that is that's the deployment. So let's go on to the round 1, and we'll see what we did. So the first thing we did was immediately use the Master of Ambush ability, which allows you to move the Warlord if he's... it says if he's infantry, but I don't know of a Warlord that's not infantry. I could be wrong. And then a single unit, and you can move them anywhere onto the battlefield, 9 inches away from an enemy, or I think it's an enemy or a deployment zone, one of the two, or both. And this was outside the deployment zone and 9 inches away from any enemies, and so I dropped him right on top of that objective marker because I wanted to try to obscure it. secure it. I'm thinking of the word, and yeah, that's where those guys stayed the entire game. Then I started dropping. So drop pods are weird. So for me, I just dropped it on top of the building because I thought it was cinematically fun. I was like, hey, ever drop on top of the building? That'd be kind of fun. And let me see if I can. Yeah, there we go. And then, but you can disembark and set up 9 inches away. And so I actually had the tape measure from this corner, from this, and actually measure 9 inches diagonally. And it might not be right. It might have been fudging a bit. But I put the Deathwing launchers on here instead of the Storm Bolters, and the Storm Bolters have way longer range. So I probably should have put the Storm Bolters on these. I thought, like, I'll put this here, and he can survey the whole area with his 12 or 15 inches of distance, and it wasn't that good of an idea, but we went with it. Then we moved the Librarian up a little bit, and then we dropped he got some buddies, so we dropped these buddies down there, and a pretty cinematic shot. Seeing a drop pod land on a ruined roof. Probably wouldn't do that. Probably just smash right through the roof, realistically. And our third drop pod landed right here to provide support for the Chapter Master and the Terminators, and they're all hanging out in their little ruins there. Which, correct me if I'm wrong, they're all in cover because they're all standing in cover, I guess, would be how I'd see that. Like light cover because you can still see through. They're like ruins. That's how I look at it. And we moved our predators up. We got them in nice in line of sight with the enemy predators, and we just shuffled these guys around. We didn't really do a whole lot with these. And then we right in the shooting phase. First thing I did was fire this autocannon predator with the heavy bolters and his hunter killer missile straight at that predator, the enemy one I could see. And as you can see right here in the picture, contact 1 o'clock, heretic predator fire, and then he was down. He lost all 11 of his wounds like immediately within 1 round of shooting. So I thought that was pretty cool. Then same thing, the second predator right next to it. It did not survive. That las cannon, so the twin las cannon and the sponson las cannons and the hunter killer missile just tore right through it. I was rolling so hot, it was like, ooh, that's a bit much. And then on the third autocannon predator, on the second autocannon predator, we almost managed to kill it. Now, one thing I realized after I started, or after I'd finished this, was maybe like 30 minutes later, is that I was in Devastator Doctrine in the Space Marines, and I haven't played Space Marines in a very long time, long before Doctrines were a thing. And so I was like, oh no, I didn't do Devastator Doctrine. And so I probably could have actually killed all of them. Now, I took for the Warlord, not for the Warlord traits, but for the Raven Guard Successor Chapter traits I took the one that gives you plus 3 inches of range to rapid fire and heavy weapons. And so it didn't really matter. We were still within normal profile range, but I thought it was kind of cool. Like I could shoot just a little bit further with all these nice, sweet heavy weapons. Moving on, we tried to shoot at that Rhino because that Rhino was full of Khorne Berserkers, and we knew it was going to come straight at us, and so we were trying to shoot it, and we managed to do, I think, 2 to 3 wounds to it. A nice, crisp shot of the Chapter Master, though. Just trying to rally the troops, and it ended up with 9 wounds remaining at the end of the shooting phase. Or maybe not. So no, that's right. We were shooting with attack Marines, and I think we were able to knock a couple extra wounds off. We dropped the Red Butcher Terminators down here. I think this was the first, so this was the end of the shooting phase for the Raptors. This was the first turn for the, what do you call those guys? I forget what we call these things. What are they? My brain stopped working. The Red Butcher Terminators. So, I know it's supposed to be done at the end of the movement phase when you teleport them in, but I just did it then. Actually, no, wait. These pictures are out of order. Hold on. 1 second. Why are the pictures out of order? Well, anyways. Okay. So, we moved. These pictures are out of order. That's weird. Okay. So we moved the Rhinos around and tried to disembark some Khorne Berserkers I didn't want the Khorne Berserkers to get out in the open and the Predators to shoot up the Rhinos. And so I tried to move them in ways where the Predators didn't have line of sight. Same thing with these ones. We ended up moving them and it got them out of the way. They didn't end up advancing forward. I got those spawn moving in. move the Predator up, and the Predator fired and did a little bit of damage to the other Predator. And we ended up firing at the Vanguard vets, and that one Meltagun shot from I think it was 11 inches away. It just tore through 3. It did 6 full damage, and it tore through 3 Vanguard vets, and I thought that was pretty cool. We charged in with Khorne Berserkers, and I need to position, now that I know, because half of the Khorne Berserkers have chain axes and half of them have chain swords, but now that I've actually done a round of fighting, I need to take into account the difference, like weapon profiles, and whether or not I want the chain axes to be up forward or if I want the chain swords to be up forward. And we're doing a whole lot of attacks in the beginning. We only killed 3 Marines in the beginning, so we did 6 total damage to kill 3 Marines. We consolidated, they fought back, did nothing, and we fought a second time. And I think that was... Is this like the last few pictures? Okay, so the end of this skirmish is that there's only 3 TAC Marines left, and now Khorne Berserkers have this ability, I forget exactly what it's called, but or no, maybe just World Eaters. World Eaters have this ability that if they are contesting an objective, if they're near an objective, regardless of how many models the opponents have, as they always control the objective. So they wrestle the objective back from these guys, and so it ended up being a tie of 3-3. So you got your little cultists there have it, they have it, and then the other one, the other one's got where the Raptors, the Master of Execution was, and so that's the 3 for them, and then the 3 for the other side, and that's how I saw it. Like, I'm not 100% sure how close, because it's supposed to be a 40mm base for an objective marker, so I was kind of just saying, like, at the end of round 1 it was a draw, but I think that round 2 would have very heavily favored. So here's the toss-up. So the Predators, having mostly taken out, they would have taken out the other Predator. And then it would have been a big, like, fight right down here. These Predators, probably this one here, would have tried and taken out these guys. And the Vanguard vets may have tried to charge in and do a little bit of damage. But these Red Butcher Terminators are going to do a hefty amount of work, so they're going to be hard to push off. I'm thinking the Predators probably would have... It would have been it's a tough call to say at this point. Who do you think would win? I'm kind of leaning towards... Well, it's open war, so it really depends. It depends on the roll of the dice for round 2. If I had a dice, which is weird because in this whole room I don't have one dice. If I had a dice, I would roll to see like which objective marker, and that would kind of give me a better idea of who to win. I have the internet. Let me go to a website and go to Dice Roller. Dice Rollers. And let's see. We'll just hit a D6. So objective marker 1 would be gone. So objective marker 1 is which one? That would be this one right here. So that objective marker would be gone. That would leave the Khorne Berserkers in a really, really good round 2. These Red Butcher Terminators, I don't even know if they would go after the Vanguard vets at this point in time. They would probably be foot slogging to try to take out this Predator, or they would try to take out these TAC Marines. But I definitely know that they would make their way and try to move there and try to take these guys out. Try to take this objective. Try to see if they can just destroy this tank and get through there. It would be a slog. I would also be moving these 2 squads of Khorne Berserkers and try to advance them as quickly as I could do here. So let's see, what would our next roll be if we were rolling again? Let's roll again. So the next roll would be 4. So where is 4? I think 4 is somewhere. No, I think it's 4 here. Oh, geez. Oh, man. Yeah, the Khorne Berserkers are winning. So I'm pretty sure we'd probably have a pretty good Khorne Berserker victory if we were trusting these rolls here. But hey, whoever knows, the rolls could have been different, and we'll find out until we play the game again. Anyway, that's been pretty much me. I gotta go. I gotta get some sleep. I gotta get ready to pack up. I will see you when I get back. Hope you've had a great weekend. Hope you guys are doing whatever you need to do, and see you around. Goodbye.